This is going to be wild carping.
Next mission is to get all the gear down to the end of the lake.
And guys, please give me a like and subscribe. Me and my dad are doing some really crazy stuff for these videos.
We're working hard for this one, aren't we? Hi, good morning everybody. Welcome back to Bankside Boys. Jaden's not with me this weekend. It's just myself. And this weekend I'm going to be talking to you about my rise and my fall in angling, and ultimately what it is that has brought me to Langridge. We're going to get deep, we're going to get down, we're going to get serious. Hopefully you'll find it interesting. So with no further ado, we'll get the kettle on, have a cuppa. I'll talk you through my life. In fact, I've never really fished Langridge before, and I suppose, yeah, I mean, I never mentioned before where we're fishing. I suppose, yeah, a little bit of pressure about the old publicity stuff, you know. So I know a few of the blokes who fish over here, and they don't want people like me and other people I won't name who are more popular on YouTube. They don't want people like me and people like them bringing undue pressure on the water. Do you understand that? I mean, I understand it, I get it totally. You know, but then it's not really fair to you, the people who are watching my videos. It's not really fair to you for me to be all secret squirrel, you know. So I'll put it out there, I'm fishing Langridge. For anyone who wants to try and come and have a go, you're talking about 180 acres of water that's controlled by 4 different fishing clubs. So if you want to fish it, you're going to have to be dedicated. You know, it's a vast expanse of water. The head of fishing this water, people speculate. You'll get some people tell you there's only 100 fish in here. You'll get other people say, oh, they've seen a couple of hundred during spawning. It's 180 acres of water. How could you possibly know how many fish are in here? There could be 300-400 fish in here. You know, they wash in, they wash out. So they come in one end, they spend how many years of their life in here, and then they wash out the other end. You know, big and small. So yeah. So what I'm doing this morning is I'm going to get my marker rod set up with a lead on, and I'm going to have a little lead about and see what I can find. I found some sort of clearish spots last night, quite late when I got here. By the time I finished marking up with a lead, or a leaded about, and then putting a few spots of bait out and whatnot. It was 9:45 by the time I cast it out, so I didn't get an awful lot done last night. I preferred to get here earlier, but I've got the wind pushing into me this morning, pushing my way, which is sort of unusual. Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to be talking to you all about my rise and my fall in angling. Had some good times over the years. Had some bloody good times. Yeah. So where did it all start? Well, I suppose it all started when I was 6 years old. I was on a summer holiday with my mum and dad down in Cornwall. My mum picked me up a crab line and we went fishing in the rock pools. That was where it all started. And then when we came back from that holiday, having seen how much I enjoyed fishing, my mum then went out and bought me a Fisher Price toy fishing rod, which they then took me to Aldenham Country Park with, in Elstree. My dad had his workshop in Elstree. He was a commercial truck painter, and we used to walk down across the fields, and eventually I got bought a proper fishing rod. Yeah, for a few years I fished down on Aldenham Country Park, catching little skimmer bream and roach and stuff like that. And I used to walk along the wall there, the damn wall, on a Sunday, and I used to see these guys pike fishing, and they were catching these massive pike. I mean, these pike were like huge. Well, you must remember I was only sort of 7, 8 years old, but these pike were big. And yeah, I fished Aldenham for a few years, and then my dad moved his workshop, and he moved out to a place called Hoddesdon on the Pindar Industrial Estate. And I remember one of his workmates coming back, one of the guys who worked for him, coming back one day, and he had this big smile on his face, and he'd say, and he said, I found this lovely place down the road. Come on, I'm going to take you down there and go and have a look. And he, sorry, excuse me. And he took me down. He put me in the motor, and he took me round the corner to this place, and the place was called Dobbs Weir. And by this time, I'm 10 years old now. And you know, this is 40 years ago, and he took me down to this place called Dobbs Weir, and I remember walking onto it, and just, I was in awe. You know, it was so nice, beautiful. There's the word, beautiful. Just didn't want to say it on camera. It was beautiful. It was a lovely place to look at, and I spent the next couple of years fishing Dobbs Weir, and I loved it. I caught more fish at Dobbs Weir in a couple of years than I'd caught at Aldenham Country Park, put it that way. And then me and my mate started fishing, schoolmate. I've moved into secondary school, and I've made new friends, and me and a friend started going fishing up at Dobbs Weir, and then we started exploring. We started walking down the canals and walking about, you know, like you do. You get out and about, and you look around. We started exploring and walking down the canals, and then we could see from the canal, we could see this expanse of water. So we walked through to go and have a look. And it was like an inland ocean. It was the way, I mean, you know, we're sort of like, now we're kind of like 12 years old. And it was like an inland ocean. And I mean, now I know that lake, that lagoon is called the North Lagoon. It's part of the Naze and Meads complex. And anyway, we carried on exploring, and we carried on walking round, and we come across the centre lagoon, and another little pit called Bracken's Pool. We didn't know anything about anything at the time. We didn't even understand memberships. Didn't even know what the word membership meant. So we went fishing, like you do. And we were fishing on the centre lagoon one day, and I was fishing for the pike, and we were getting some good pike fishing there, and a bailiff came round. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, He was alright. He was actually alright because we were just two young lads, and he gave us all the membership details of where we could get memberships for. And then we wrote off to leisure sports angling, and we got our memberships. And that was really, really where the story begins. Because I became, it was always going to be, fishing is in my blood. I became obsessed by it, by fishing, and I still am to this day obsessed by fishing. And I would spend days, weeks, months, if I could, at the lake. And I got into Bracken's Pool. I was fishing there for the bream, funny enough. When I hooked my first carp, I was fishing on a 13-foot match rod with a little old style heron bite alarm, and it zipped off and it just went. And the next thing I know, in the net, I had a big old mirror carp. I mean, we're talking 1989. Yeah, no, 1989. No, 85, 86, round about that sort of time. And I caught this mirror carp, and the guy came in from the next swim, and he was super impressed, and he weighed it up for me. It was 16 pounds and 9 ounces. Was my first ever carp. Little did I know that was going to be my last carp for quite some time. But nevertheless, I became obsessed by it. And I went out, and I remember going to this little shop. It was a little army surplus shop, local to where I lived. And I went in there and I bought these cheap, what I describe as broomstick carp rods. And I bought them, and I started fishing for carp. By God, over the next couple of years, I think I hooked and lost every single fish in that lake. And it would be another couple of years before I caught and landed another carp from that lake. And then I found a girlfriend. I had a girlfriend. Woohoo! Girlfriend doesn't happen very often nowadays. Through choice. Do that, the headaches. I had a girlfriend. I used to take her fishing, and I used to go fishing literally every weekend. I used to love it. I used to love my fishing. And well, this one's a bit hard to talk about. I mean, I'm not going to get bitchy about it because it's 40 or it's 30 odd years ago. It doesn't matter anymore. But at the time, it mattered. At the time, it did matter. Well, she betrayed me, and so did my friends, the people I fished with. Yeah, there was a betrayal, and it didn't end well. And in the end, by the time I was sort of 17 years old, 16, coming up to 17, I'd actually, through embarrassment, shame, and ridicule, the feeling of ridicule, I gave up fishing. And I actually really did give it up. I sold all my gear. By that point in time, I had Armalite rods. I had all the stainless gear. I had everything. And I sold the lot. I gave it all up. And when I gave it up, I could have been on a path to have really like worked in the fishing industry, which is what I wanted. I had a dream to work in the fishing industry. And I come back to that in a little while. Coming back to that. Fast forward 18 years from giving up fishing, I found myself in a position where I had to start fishing again. I had to start fishing again. It was therapy. So in 2003, after a very, very long break from fishing, I started fishing again. And after a season of fishing a little local club water, of which I'm now a bailiff of and fishery manager there at my little local club. After a season fishing there and catching some smallish carp, I got the bit back between my teeth and decided I wanted to rejoin Amazing Meads. Unfortunately, I could do that, and with my brother Paul, we joined up at Amazing Meads, and we went back there, and yeah, we've done really well. I put some of the pictures up on the screen. Yeah, we did well. We did okay. Went back there. I knew where all the features were in Bracken's Pool, and because I plumbed that lake to death in my younger years, it was all consigned to memory. I drew a map, and we were away. And yeah, we spent the next couple of years fishing on the meads, catching fish. We moved off of Bracken's Pool onto the lagoons and started fishing in lagoons. And you know, we just loved it. And that was where the story really began, because neither me or my brother were happy in our employment, and we had some other experiences in life that we thought, you know, we should be using. But anyway, we'd arrived at the South Lagoon one day. We got all our gear right from the car park right round to the pylon swim on the other side of the lake. Took half the day, got everything all set up, and to discover we'd forgotten our coffee cups. We'd forgotten our cups, our mugs. So I said to Paul, I said, no problem, mate. I said, I'll pop in the car, go in the car, I'll go up to the camping shop in Oddeston. And I went to go to the camping shop in Oddeston, and got to Oddeston, and the bloody camping shop was gone. I was like, what's going on here? This is no good. I mean, it was here 30 years ago. Anyway, I turned and looked at Johnson Ross next door, thinking, well, that's only a tiny little tackle shop. I suppose I'll pop in there and see what they've got. Because the last time I was in Johnson Ross, it was a tiny little tackle shop. Well, anyway, I pushed the door, and I opened the door, and I went in, and I was like, lo and behold, the little tiny tackle shop was now a rod showroom, and the rest of the shop had expanded substantially. And I remember walking in, and there were people standing around polishing bucket lids. The shop wasn't very busy, but I went in, and I was like, went upstairs, and they had a little camping section with cups and that. I got my cups and da. And I went back to the lake. I got back to Paul, and I sat there, and I said to him, I said, how do you fancy getting back into web design? And he went, oh, really? Right, what are you thinking? And I said, well, pulled up the phone and we started looking through, and I said, well, look at this and this and la la la. I said, look, this website's not very good. I said, we could do better than that, you know. And then we started looking at other websites in angling and fishing, carp fishing. And to be honest, they were all crap. Everybody's website was crap. Nash's website, crap. I mean, we're talking like 2004 now. We're not, you know, we're not talking 2024. We're talking 2003, 2004, 2005. And we looked for all these websites, and everybody's website was just rubbish. I mean, everybody. The bar was set so low, you couldn't even trip over it. Anyway, we said to ourselves, we could do better. So we started approaching people and offering up essentially free websites, because we could do better and we knew we could do better. Phoned a couple of people, got instantly knocked back. One of them that I phoned, instantly knocked us back. Said, nah, no thank you. Couldn't even give it away. And then I kept phoning different people, and I phoned up this one company. You'll all know this company. Phoned up this one company, and guy answered the phone. The company was Matrix Innovations. The guy answered the phone, and I gave him my little sales spiel. And basically, with the catch whiskers, we're going to raise the bar. And they bit. They bit. They took the bait. They said, yeah, go on, come in and see us. We are blah blah blah. And it turned out that Matrix Innovations and the people who run Johnson Ross were one and the same. So we did a really pucker website for Matrix Innovations, and you know, it rocked. It rocked. It changed everything. From that moment forth, the bar had been risen. And then not long after Matrix Innovations, we got the job to do the Johnson Ross website. And then the ball began to roll. The ball just began to roll. And within a few years, we were working for loads of companies. By 2008, 2009, we were working for loads of companies. We had, I'm not going to go through all of them, but because most of you out there who know me or will know, they will look at the websites and they will know. And so over the next few years, it just got going, and more websites, more jobs, and you know, me and my brother, we were like, when we went fishing, we felt like kings. We had all the gear, we had everything, and it was just life was good. Fast forwarding a little bit, we got to sort of like 2012, and we were asked to look at something, and it was retail system. We were asked to look at a retail system, and we looked at it, and again, much like most other things, you know, me and Paul looked at each other and said, we could do better than that. And we were given a chance to do better than that, and we did. And it's still being used in Johnson Ross now, and other tackle shops are still using our system. And yeah, life was good. Life was good. Can't complain. Sorry, I'm just taking a pause for a moment because I suppose because life isn't so good now. That's why I'm taking a pause. And there's no sort of getting around it. Sadly, in 2023, Paul was in July 2023. Paul was diagnosed with stage 4 terminal cancer at 42 years old. Well, 41. And yeah, by December 2023, sadly, Paul had left us. And now I'm sitting here at Langridge, pursuing a joint dream of ours. We came here over a decade ago to look at this water, and we talked about it for days and days. For some reason, we procrastinated on it, and we didn't join up. But I know he had it in his heart and he wanted to join up, and so that's why I'm here now. But to talk of the fall, the business that me and my brother built up over 20 years, working in the angling industry, serving the angling industry, has now gone. So it wasn't just R.I.P. Paul, it was R.I.P. NW7 Design. And he's gone now. And life has changed, but we're dealing with it. You know, I'm back here. I'm on the Langridge, and I'm doing this for me and my brother, and for Jaden. Let's not forget my boy. You know, who suffered greatly this year. He's resilient. He's beautiful. And I love him. So, yeah, the rise and the fall of an angler, of a passionate carp angler, someone who's dedicated their life to fishing, and get knocked down, you just got to get back up, haven't you? Hey? Ain't nothing to keep me down. Nothing or no one. Tell you what, it's a beautiful place. I wish you could all be here with me. Not just my brother. I wish you could all be here with me and experience this place. There's something very special about this place. I feel it, and I know that if I keep fishing it, some good things are going to come. You watch. Some good things are going to come. Right, well, you've all heard a ton of what's brought me here. You've heard a lot about a brief run through of why and how, the wheres, whys. I throughout this weekend we'll drop in a little bit and tell a couple of funny stories. I've got a couple of stories, angling stories. One in particular is quite funny, but how I tell that, I've got to work out how I tell that story, because yeah, it's not a simple story, but it is funny. It is absolutely, it is funny. Right, I'll get back to you in a little while. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and if you're enjoying the video, please like and subscribe.